Hello and welcome to another how-to video for the Skuttlebot Devkit. In this episode, we're going to talk about how do we get your hardware onto the local Wi-Fi. Obviously, your PC is already there, but we need to make sure that the device is there. Because I've got the serial hooked up to this right now, so we can actually see what it's doing. So in this case, once you turn your device on, it's going to go ahead and start booting up. Now right now I've got it looking for a server called test. It's not going to find it. So this will be similar to your situation when you first booted up. It can't find that, so the next thing it'll do is it'll look for information that you may have put in through the Wi-Fi manager. In this case, we haven't done that yet, so it just says no credentials found. So if it can't find those two places, what it says that it's done is it's launched its Wi-Fi manager, and that means it's in access point mode. So it is now set up its own baby little server, and it is waiting for people to connect with it. So the way that you do that, you can do this with your phone or with your PC, is you turn off of your well, actually, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to look for the ESP32 AP. We may call that Skuttlebot or something else downstream, but right now this is what we've named it. And we just go ahead and connect to that. And it's going to double check. It should jump us over. There we go. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring up our configuration setup. So this is a pretty straightforward little GUI. Again, you can be doing this off of your phone, so if you are, out in a public area and you want to use your Skuttlebot there, you can go ahead and jump on the Wi-Fi as long as you know the information. So in this case, we're just going to hit configure, and I'll blur this out, but in this case, I'm going to select the network I want to be on, and I'll put in our password, and I will hit save. And it will go ahead and take us right off of the system. And your Skuttlebot should have updated as well. Now in this case, you can see, we're going to actually pause this real quick so we can actually read it. So after we've done that, it has gone ahead and gotten this back up. So basically it's like, hey, we've connected, and now we've set it up via Wi-Fi manager, and there's our IP address and everything else sets up. You can tell that it's operating should you be looking at everything, because right now we're doing a heartbeat and it's setting out that information. So now that that's taken care of, we can go ahead and reboot it, just to make sure that everything is working as intended. And it's going to go back through its startup. Now, again, the first thing it does is it looks at the config file, which we have not necessarily updated yet. In this case, it didn't find those. It knows that I have some, went through that real fast, but it basically said, hey, I think you saved some information. It goes and looks and finds that secondary information and goes ahead and logs in. So that's great. That's how we set up that part. Now we're going to talk about how do we do an update over the air. This is going to be pretty important every time we make new changes to the code and we build in new utilities. We're going to want to do that. We're going to do this by doing an example on how you're setting up your config file. So in this case, I do actually have this already in here, but it's all blurred out. But I'm going to change my Wi-Fi SSID and my Wi-Fi password. And ideally, you would put in the same information you just put in. So this is, again, if you're operating on your home network, this is where it's going to check first. And you hit save. And that's the only change you need to make there. Now, we're going to go through and do a couple of checks before we upload the code to the device. So first of all, you want to make sure that you are on this setup. This is the most important part, minimal spiffs with the OTA. If you do this process and you do not have this set, it will no longer work with OTA, which means you have to take the device apart, get the CPU, and actually hook it up and reprogram it. Definitely try to keep doing this over the air. So in this case, we're going to do this the proper way, even though it's on the serial monitor right now. So the way that we do that is we go into our setup, and what we should be having is that we should have a network. So I'm not seeing this. Oh, and the reason for that is because I haven't actually connected to my Wi-Fi. So let me just go ahead and reconnect my PC. Cool. Sorry about that delay, but hey, that's a learning opportunity. So now that we're back on the system, we are going to be looking for a unknown. We may name this, but you're going to see a Wi-Fi device. That is actually your Skuttlebot. It's got its own little web server set up, and it's doing its thing. So we want to switch, or we want to use that. We want to make sure that it is an AI thinker, ESP32 CAM. So you make sure you select those. On this Scuttle host, you make sure these two are basically set up, and that's good. So now this is going to actually upload the code to the device itself over the air. Now you can see that now I'm no longer using the serial port, so I stopped getting my serial updates. So it's really only communicating through the Wi-Fi. So to get that, so the first thing I'm going to do is a compile. It's going to ask me for the password. In this case, it's password. You can change that in the settings. And it's going to compile. Okay, it's almost done. It only took about 30 seconds. And you saw that it connected right away, and it is doing this all over the air. So yeah, there's not much to say about that. It's going to be done when it's done. So what it's actually doing is it's actually rewriting all the code, and now that that's done. Okay, now that we've updated the code, we're going to go ahead and see what happens. So what I've done is on my device, I've reconnected it to the serial monitor. So basically I've switched it away from this, and I've switched it back, I will be switching it back to my device, which is on 510. And we're going to see what's happened now that we've updated the code. So here's my boot up, and boom, I'm already on. So we're just going to look at that real quick. Initializing the Wi-Fi, and it's used the code that it was found in the config file. And we're already on, and it's back up and set up, and it's running again. So cool. That is how you do a OTA. All right. Well, that is it for this episode. Thank you very much for showing up and being involved in the project. We would really appreciate it. Of course, please like, follow, and share, and we'll catch you in the next episode.